Hello there, senior candidates. Welcome to Educate. Let us do the accommodation as well as the pupillary mechanism in the human eye. So I strongly recommend you to have watched my video introducing how the eye function. Now we look at accommodation. What is accommodation? So accommodation is the process in which the shape of the lens changes so that the eye can focus on near or distant objects. So basically, when you need to look at something that is far away and when you need to look at something that is closer to you, the shape of the lens changes. Remember that in my previous video, I highlighted that one of the most important adaptations of the lens is that the lens can change its shape so that you can focus on near or distant objects. So we'll look at distant vision as well as near vision and try to compare how the shape of the lens looks like on both sides so that you can understand the process of accommodation. So now let's look at these two pictures. So these two pictures here, they are describing the eye when looking at distant vision as well as when looking at near vision respectively. So when we say that we are looking at something far away or when you are looking at something that is at a distance away from you, we are talking about something that is 6 meters and above. So 6 meters and above. And then when you are talking about near vision, you are talking about something that is way closer to you, which is 6 meters and below. Okay, just below 6 meters. Let's just say below 6 meters. So it means that's the distance between your eye and that particular object that you are focusing on. So when we look at both these diagrams, you can note the shape of the lens is different in each case. In distant vision, you have got a lens that is way smaller. You can see that the lens here at the distant vision, it's way smaller than the lens here at the near vision. So when you are looking at objects that are far away, your lens is so small. But when you are looking at objects that are closer to you, your lens becomes bulgy or it becomes bigger. So now that is known as accommodation. So basically, your lens must change its shape from small to big so that you can see closer objects. All right, so that's the basic sense. So now let us look at common labels that we need to take into consideration. So here, these are known as the ciliary muscles. So here at the tip here of the suspensory ligaments, we have got ciliary muscles. And then remember that these things that look like strings, these things that look like izintambo that are holding the lens in position, they are known as suspensory ligaments. And just rewinding this so that you remember the labels of the eye. So these are suspensory ligaments. They suspend the lens to be in a certain position. And then this is the lens itself. This disc-like shape is the lens. So these labels apply also for the near vision. Remember, we have said that this is our ciliary muscles. These are our ciliary muscles. And then these are the suspensory ligaments as well as the lens itself. So these three labels are very important for you to be able to understand accommodation. Now, let us start with the process of accommodation. So for distant vision, how does the lens actually end up becoming so small than the near vision? First thing that happens, the ciliary muscles relax. So we are talking about the muscles that are here. These muscles here that are here at this point, they relax. So they relax. So they just loosen up. The ciliary muscles, they relax. So that's the first point that you have for the distant vision. And then now, when the ciliary muscles relax, the suspensory ligaments does the opposite. They actually tighten or they become tightened. They have tension between them. So basically you can see here, if we observe carefully, we have got these things that are holding the lens. They look very tight. They look like they've been tonsured. They've been pulled by these ciliary muscles. So if you can compare it to these ones that you are finding in near vision, they are way different. and you can note their difference there, is to say that the ones in distant vision, they look like they've been pulled. So they actually tighten. All right. It's like you have fastened them and you are pulling. All right. So the suspensory ligaments will do what? They will tighten. So basically, remember that the suspensory ligaments, they are holding the lens. So basically, when they tighten up, okay, the other one, these ones that are found on top here, they are tightening up and they are pulling the lens up. And then the ones that are found at the bottom here, they are also tightening up and they are pulling the lens down. So both of them, they are pulling the lens, they are tight. So basically the lens will feel more tension. So basically the tension of the lens will increase because the suspensory ligaments, which are just like ropes or strings that are holding onto the lens, they are pulling in opposite direction. But don't use the word pulling, just say the tension on the lens will increase. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of how that looks like. And then when the tension on the lens increases, you can see that the lens is being pulled up by the other suspensory ligaments and is being pulled down by the other suspensory ligaments. So the lens will become less convex. When you say that the lens is less convex, we are referring to this small shape here. I have said that you can see that in distant vision you have got a smaller lens, but scientifically you do not use the word a smaller lens. You say that the lens is less convex when it is this small. So when the lens is less convex, why? Now you answer yourself, why must the lens be less convex so that you can see objects that are far away from you? So basically it is because light rays, they need to be reflected less. So when you look at objects that are very far away from you, you need the light rays to be refracted less. So the light rays do not need to be bent a lot so that you can be able to see an object that is far away. So that is why the lens becomes small. Okay, the lens becomes small so that the light rays will not be refracted that much. They will not be bent. And then when light rays are refracted less, then you can say that we have accommodation for distant vision. So for near vision, you are just going to turn around everything. So if you are not good at catching the concept, just try to understand how distant vision accommodation occurs, then flip it at the near vision, do the opposite at the near vision. So now the near vision, the ciliary muscles contract. So now it's the opposite of what we had. So these muscles here, the ciliary muscles here, they do what? They contract. So diagrammatically, in a diagram, basically, the ciliary muscles, when they draw them, they're gonna draw them such that they are big and they put dots on something like this. But for near vision, they're gonna draw them such that they are small, right? So try your best to familiarize yourself with this conversion of diagrams here. But basically, the ciliary muscles, they contract. And opposite to that, the suspensory ligaments, they slacken or they loosen up. So the suspensory ligaments, they loosen up. On that other side, you've said that they tighten, or they can use the word become taut. So whenever they use the word tighten or become taut, it just means that the suspensory ligaments are being pulled or they look like they are stretching. You get the sense, guys. So basically here, the suspensory ligaments slacken. So it's the opposite. You can see that they are loosening up. The suspensory ligaments that you have when you are looking at an object that is closer to you, it looks slacken. You can see that it looks like these are just ropes and they are not being pulled that much. Okay, they are not being pulled that much. So now when that happens, there will be less tension on the lens. So tension on the lens will decrease. Tension on the lens will decrease because remember the suspensory ligaments, they are no longer pulling the lens that much as in the distant vision. So it will do what? It will decrease. The tension on the lens decreases. And when the tension on the lens has decreased, the lens can now become bigger. The lens can now become more convex. Okay. So now we say that since now the tension is lower, the lens is allowed to grow bigger. That's why in near vision, we have a bigger lens because these suspensory ligaments that are holding this lens, they are not pulling that much. They are not tight. So basically the lens becomes more convex. All right, so more convex just refer to a lens that is more rounded or that is more bulgy, all right? And when that happens, the light rays will be refracted more. So more light rays are refracted during near vision. So for you to be able to see something that is closer to you, there is a greater amount of light that needs to be bent so that it can enter your eye, in contrast with the distant vision. Now let's look at pupillary mechanism. So the basics of pupillary mechanism starts at understanding that too much light, too much bright light can damage the eye. Therefore, the pupillary mechanism solves that. Remember, we have said that the pupil, it is this spot, this hole that allows light to enter into your eye. So basically, from these diagrams, you must be able to see that this is the pupil. So this hole here, this round shape is the pupil. Now, we say that the pupil constricts, all right, pupillary mechanism. This is when the pupil constricts or dilates to regulate the amount of light that enters the eye. Look at diagram 1. You have got a small pupil, or you have got a small eye opening. There's a small eye opening. That dark opening is smaller. But when you look at diagram 2, you have got a pupil that is more open, because this is the pupil for diagram 2. So the pupil for diagram 1 and the pupil for diagram 2 are different because one of them is smaller and the other one is bigger. Why does it change its opening? Why does it constrict? Why does it dilate? It is because we have got two different light conditions. So in bright light, the pupil needs to be smaller so that less light can enter your eye, because remember, from this statement, we've said that too much light, too much bright light can damage your eye. So basically, if I take a torch in the dark and then I turn it onto your eye, you immediately you feel like the light is actually damaging you. Very too much light is bad for your eye. So when there is too much bright light, the pupil will become smaller. But now let us look at which muscles are involved in controlling this pupillary mechanism. So now we have got, first of all, in this label, we've got circular muscles as well as radial muscles. Don't make a mistake of confusing circular muscles and ciliary muscles. The ciliary muscles are, you are actually playing a role in accommodation, the one that we just did. But now for the pupillary mechanism, it is the circular muscles. They are different from one another. So the circular muscles, they are of the iris, basically. Remember that the iris, it is this colored part, this colored part of the eye. For this example, you can see that my eye here is black. My eye is black, so that black colored part, it is the iris. So the iris can have circular muscles or radial muscles. So we've got two of them, circular muscles and radial muscles. So the circular muscles, they look round. Of course, they are circular. And then the radial muscles, they look like lines. They are something like this. So these are the radial muscles. I think you kind of get the sense. So these are your circular muscles of the iris. They are found at that colored part of the eye, circular muscles. And then these ones that are straight lines, they are the radial muscles. So now these two, they act antagonistically against each other. So now when we look at them from the diagram, here are the radial muscles, the one that look like lines. These ones, they look like straight lines. They are straight lines in this diagram. And then the circular muscles, it is the one that are circles around the iris. So these ones are the circular muscles. So I'm sure it's easy to identify. So now let us look at how the pupil end up becoming smaller during bright light. Now during bright light, the radial muscles of the iris will relax. So these straight line muscles, they relax during bright light conditions. So whenever you are looking at light that is very bright, then the radial muscles of the iris will relax. And then the circular muscles do the opposite. Remember, they act antagonistically. So the circular muscles does the opposite of the radial muscles. So the circular, since here the radial muscles are relaxing in bright light, the circular muscles will contract. And then this this opposite thing, this opposite effect, it will actually cause the pupil to constrict. So the main aim for bright light conditions in pupillary mechanism, it is to make the pupil to constrict or to become smaller so that less light can enter your eye. So less light needs to enter your eye, because remember, too much bright light can damage your eyes. So basically, when the pupil constricts, it means that it is becoming smaller, as represented in this diagram. Here, this hole, which is the pupil, is very smaller. It is allowing less light to enter the eye. So oppositely, we can look at the dim light condition to say that when there is less light in the environment, the pupil has to open up a lot so that more light can be able to enter so that you can see. You see, most of the times in the dark, you cannot see easily. So basically, your eye, your pupil, it will open up. You need to observe. Try to take a torch and go to your friend and then turn it on and look at what happens to the black in the black of their eye. So that part known as a pupil, it will either constrict or dilate depending on bright light or dim light. So when it's dim light, the radial muscles of the iris will contract. So it's doing the opposite of bright light condition. So these muscles that look like lines, these radial muscles, they will contract. And then when these radial muscles contract, we know that what will happen is here, the ciliary muscles will do the opposite. They will relax. And then the pupil will end up opening. It will dilate or it will open up because there is dim light. We need the pupil to widen. We need the pupil to open up so that enough light can be able to enter your eye so that you can see. So the pupil will dilate or it will widen so that more light will enter the eye. So this is known as pupillary mechanism, which is basically the mechanism whereby the pupil can either constrict or it can dilate. Constricting being becoming smaller and dilating being becoming wider. It becomes smaller in the bright light condition when there's a lot of bright light, and it becomes smaller in the bright light condition, or it constricts, and then in the dim light condition it becomes bigger so that more light can enter the eye. So thank you so much, senior candidates, for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to stay tuned.